This podcast contains adult content and themes. For a full list of our content warnings, please see our show notes. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome, my dear travelers, to the Morbid Forest.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. My head. Where are we? James? James?
5 more minutes, Abigail, then we can go back to the case.
We have a lot bigger problems than solving a case. Get up!
What are you going on about? Where are we?
Woods of some sort is my best guess. But I've never seen trees like those before.
Are they leering at us, or am I hallucinating?
They are most certainly leering. Where's my phone? We need to figure out...
Ah!
What the fuck is that?
That
Oh.
is Larry. Greetings, dear travelers. Interesting. You are not quite my normal guest.
Look, we just woke up here, where exactly is here?
You two have stumbled into the Morbid Forest. I'm Ranger Harper, and you've already met my companion, Larry.
Why is your companion a one-eyed thing?
She didn't mean it like that, and you know it. No need to get your web in a twist. As for your question, well, every Hades needs a Cerberus. Larry is mine.
Do you mean to tell us that we're dead?
No. Which is why your presence here is so curious. Do you mind giving me your hand?
Depends on what you're going to do with it.
James?
Don't James me. A pink-haired park ranger who, no offense, looks like a female version of the Crypt Keeper,
None taken.
just waltzes up to us with her nightmare spider asking to touch me, and we have no idea what is going on. That makes me a little on edge.
She's obviously trying to help.
I am. My job is to help lost travelers find their path to their next part of their journey. However, if my suspicions are correct, you two are not meant to be here.
Then how did we get here?
Excellent question. Something brought you here. Something you encountered on your plane which has a strong connection to my forest. It would be easier to answer if you allowed me to take a look.
A look at what?
To where or what your soul is tethered.
Well, I'm in.
Abigail.
Oh, if I can't James you, don't Abigail me. Harper is obviously trying to help. Do you see any other options of finding our way out of here?
Well, you don't really give me time to think.
Here, you can take my hand.
Thank you.
Did your hand just pass through mine?
Oh no, we are dead.
No. This is a good thing. If you were solid, there would be no path for you back home. Only forward. Your tether is intact, but that is as much as I can sense or do here. I wish I could tell you I've come across something like this before, but I have a few journals in my cabin from past rangers describing incidences like this. With a little help from my one-eyed friend, I'm sure we can get you both set on a path back to your reality. Come. It's a long walk back to my cabin, and night is already falling. We don't want to be out here. Once it does.
I don't like the sound of that. But it seems we have little options, as my partner pointed out.
Excellent. It's settled then. You know, from time to time, when I have anxious travelers, I tell them a story while we're on our little journey. If it will ease your mind while we walk, I can tell you one I heard once about a few folks from your side of the pond.
Oh, I do love a good ghost story.
Well then you'll love this one, titled Rest, Little Sister.
Good afternoon.
Oh, hi there. Thomas McKnight here to see your ladyship, Miss Blackthorne, if you please.
Please come in. May I take your wrap?
My... what?
Your jacket, sir.
Oh, this. No bother.
Very well, sir. Please step this way.
So, how is Miss Blackthorne doing these days?
She is in fine health and spirits, sir.
Glad to hear it. Last time she was all slumped over in her wheelie chair. Then you roused her, and she moved. I nearly yipped. Being so thin and at her age, well, I thought she left these mortal realms for other parts, if you know what I mean.
She is fond of napping in the day room.
Napping's better than the alternative.
Yes, sir. If you would wait here, sir, I will announce your arrival.
That'd be fine.
Pardon me, ma'am. Ma'am?
What is it, Jeffries?
A gentleman by the name of Thomas McKnight has come to see you, ma'am. Shall I?
Mr. McKnight, I hadn't noticed you there in the doorway. Come in. Come in. Please have a seat there by the window. Jeffries, roll me into the light so that I might see my guest better.
Yes, ma'am.
Quite the view you got there.
Yes, it is. It gives me solace to gaze upon the lake and the weeping willows that congregate there like great shaggy beasts bowing their heads at a funeral. Jeffries!
Yes, ma'am?
Tea and biscuits.
Yes, ma'am.
Well now, Mr. McKnight, I expect you've been to the house.
Yes, ma'am. As a matter of fact, I have. I have to admit, I'm a bit befuddled. I have more than a few questions.
Pardon me for interrupting, Mr. McKnight. I hope you can stay for tea and tell me about your assignment.
Well, yeah, that'd be fine. Like I was saying, I have more than a few questions I'd like to clear up, if you don't mind. For instance...
Yes, Mr. McKnight. I promise to answer each and every one. But first, pray tell me of your visit, assignment.
All right then,
Tell me every detail. Leave nothing out.
Yeah. Well, I went to the house, climbed out of my van in front of the wrought iron gates. A chain wrapped around the bars hooked up with a lock held them in place. See, the thing is, the key you gave me wasn't the key for the gate. I guess you know that.
Is that so? On the table, Jeffries. Put it down on the table. Go on, Mr. McKnight.
So I couldn't drive in, but the gates were a bit wobbly, old as they were. I figured I could wriggle my way through with a tiny bit of effort. I got my kit and did just that, letting the van sit where it was. There was a nip in the air. Funny thing, it was colder on the other side. More likely I was imagining that. I pulled my collar up and went on. Now see, I'm not a superstitious fella. The overgrown tawny weeds, distant cawing of crows, all those bare trees with their gnarled fingers poking into the swirling grey clouds had no effect on me, not one bit. But the old grey house, sitting way off down the lane, well, that was different. You ever feel like a house has a face and eyes that watched you, waiting? Yeah, well, that times 10 for this old lady. Oh, she must have been splendid back in her day, alive with beautiful women in colourful gowns and music dancing through the trees. And now, well, it's something else, it is. You're a grown man, more than a grown man. Get on with the job, I told myself. And so I walked down the lane into the stinging wind that made me eyes water. 15 minutes. That's all it'd take. Just check the gas is off and there ain't no leaks. Back in day when they made these old Edwardian houses, like yours, they didn't think to put the shut-off outside. If they had, it'd only be a 5-minute job. Better for everyone, if you ask me. I was thinking there'd be sheet-covered furniture in there. Like ghosts taking a nap. Well, they'll have to put up with me for a minute. Then they could go right back to napping for the rest of eternity, far as I cared. That's what I was thinking, just then.
Yes. Go on.
Then I heard a rustling coming from the woods. Other than the lane, it was all woods, pretty much. Old wood, never logged. The kind of place where fairy tales are born. Probably a rabbit is all. Then, there it was again. I'm too big for a rabbit. Wolf? Man, not in this day and age. Still, I wouldn't want to get caught off guard. I gripped me toolbox with both hands. I'd give him a knocking, he'd cry to his old ma wolf about. I looked through the thicket, grey trunks and thorny brambles. I was looking for a pair of yellow wolf eyes. Well, come on now, I said to the noise in the trees. If there's trouble to be had, let's get on with it. Then I saw it. A mass of dirty yellow hair, pale blue eyes. It weren't no wolf. It were a girl. Are you all right there, Miss Blackthorn? I didn't mean to upset you.
No, I mean, yes, I'm fine. Of course, Mr. McKnight. You said you saw a girl.
I thought I was in for it. But then I laughed. Relieved, you see. She ducked behind her tree again. Hello there, I said. She stayed where she was, only sneaking a look at me like I was some kind of monster. I guess to her, I was a giant. It's all right. My name is Thomas McKnight, but everyone calls me Tommy. She still didn't come out of her hiding, so I got down on a knee, trying to look less giantish. Come on out. I won't hurt you. She came out, slowly, ready to run off if I so much as blinked. Come on now. The girl must not have been more than 9 or 10.
Yes, 9, I imagine.
You know the girl?
Continue, please, Mr. McKnight. I will answer your questions later. I promise.
She was wearing an ankle-length nightgown. Originally white, but now all torn and dirty like she'd been living out in those woods. What's your name, little one? I asked. She stopped, then ran full tilt through the brush and straight into my arms. Could have knocked me over. She was cold and shivering, poor thing. Oh, it's all right now. You got nothing to worry about with old Tommy here. She clung on, burying her face in me shoulder. How'd you get out here all by yourself? She was barefoot. Barefoot in the forest at this time of year. I put my jacket over her. Made her look like she was wearing a collapsed circus tent. I smiled at her, and she smiled back. Sweet thing. Where are your folks? Quiet as a doornail, she was. How did you get out here? Nope. No reply at all. Why on earth are you barefoot? She wasn't talking. Not a name, nor a rank, nor a serial number. I stood, held out my hand, inviting her to take it. She took it, with both of hers. How long had she been out there alone? What in tarnation happened to her? Right, I have a job to do. You come with me, and then I'll take care of you, yeah? I didn't expect an answer, and I didn't get one either. It was as if she didn't speak English. Maybe she was deaf or not able to talk, or both. It didn't matter. I wasn't going to leave her out there like whoever did. Can you imagine abandoning a child in the woods? In her nightgown, for goodness sake. Oh, who'd do that?
Yes, that is tragic.
I started walking toward the house again, but she put on her brakes. I've got a little job to do down there. Won't be but a minute. She shook her head. He'll be all right. You're with old Tommy now. I smiled. She smiled back. We were about halfway to the house, but the more we walked, the more we had to go. I'll tell you, there was something off about that place. I'd been in a lot of places, but this was different. I could feel it. It was unnatural. I was near to give up, but if I had, it wouldn't do no good. I'd just have to come back. Then, we were standing in front of the great old house. Bit dodgy in shape, to tell the truth. Broken boards, missing boards, dead vines clinging to its side like meandering brown veins. I'll bet anyone anything that there were more than one fox calling this their home. Look here, little one, I said, picking her up and set her down on the porch. You wait here. I'm going inside. I'll be done in a jiffy, and then you and old Tommy will set off for someplace better than this. She looked at me, seeming not to understand. You, I pointed at her, stay right here. I pointed at the porch. I'm going inside. I pointed at myself and then the front door. She shook her head. I got to. No other way about it. She grabbed my arm as I walked past. Now, I told you, you got to stay here, I said. She tried to stop me. I pulled her off. No means no. She shook her head. Easy to see she was terrified at what might be inside. Enough to give me pause. You haven't a thing to worry about. I'll be back before you can say jack spat. I took all of 3 steps, and she had me arm again, little monkey. Scared as she was, she didn't want to let me go. Poor thing. What could I do? All right. You can come, but you watch where you step. I'm telling you that. I don't want you stepping on a nail or broken glass or anything like that. What would your folks say if I brought you back all cut up? Then I remembered. I didn't mind her wandering around the woods barefoot. She nodded. So, there you go. She can hear and understand English. We're making progress. Slow, but sure. I tried the key in the lock. It went in, but it didn't feel right. While I was tinkering with it, the door came off its ruddy hinges, fell forward like to brain me. The girl cowered, but I caught it and leaned it up against the wall out of harm's way. I clicked on my torch, scanned it around the atrium, seeing one disc of it at a time. A spiderweb pattern in black and white mosaic tiles covered the oval floor. A grand wooden staircase rose up from it, fitting neatly against the teal walls. Deep cracks in the walls exposed lathe, between which vines grew. Suspended from the domed ceiling hung a crystal chandelier with a million little prisms, now turned grey with the dust of decades. The air danced with motes and smelled musty. Overall, it could have used a good sweeping, and more. The fact is, black mould had taken hold. I guess some would say it was creepy, but I could see what it was. Elegant. We walked in. I hadn't expected it to be any the warmer inside, but I hadn't expected it to be colder either. And yet it was. Ooh. Oh, fine cup of tea, that.
I haven't seen the house in ages. You can see it's difficult for me to venture out anymore. You have no idea how wonderful it is to see it through your eyes. Please, continue.
You grew up there, in the house.
What happened next, Mr. McKnight?
I said to the girl that I'm looking for something, more likely than not in the kitchen. She led me along by the arm. I let her take me where she would, since she seemed to know where she was going. We went straight into a long, dark hallway, and dark for no reason at all, for one side had floor-to-ceiling windows, maybe 12 feet high, maybe more, and the opposite wall covered in mirrors. But somehow, this place soaked up light and never let it loose again. Marble busts on pedestals looked at us as we went along. None of them looked happy. Well, if you had to sit in a glum place like that, you wouldn't be happy either, would you now? Here's the thing. I was feeling a bit off just then. I couldn't keep my mind on what we were doing. Instead, my mind was racing with daydreams. Daydreams about what had happened right there a long time ago.
What did you see?
In my daydreams? Well, nothing much just then. I mean, nothing important. I imagined 2 girls running around, chasing each other. Their high-pitched, excited laughter echoing in the hall. Dunno why.
Yes.
Right, well, I refocused my attention on the moment as we went into a dining room big enough for 25 people. A vase in the centre of the table held nothing but withered sticks. I figure they had been flowers once. All the water in the pot evaporated long ago. At the head of the table stood the master's chair, fancier than the others. Above that hung a double portrait in a gilded frame of a dignified couple, dressed like royalty. The kitchen was the next room off that, and so I got to work looking for the gas line. Thing is, the 2 ovens were both wood-fired, and the lighting wasn't gas either. And then I thought about how far out in the country this house must have been, way back when it was built. It's one thing to have gas in the city, but not out here. They wouldn't run a line for just one house, see? I realised then, you sent me on a fool's mission. There weren't no gas in this house. And it never had it, neither. Ain't that so?
You are quite correct, Mr. McKnight. Please pardon me for deceiving you.
I was a bit miffed at the time.
I expect you were. And then, did you storm out of the house, or was there more to your adventure?
I'd say there was more. Yes, indeed. The girl pulled me on. She had been in this house before. I went along. I don't know why. Like you said, I should have left, but the girl was so insistent. The daydreams came back. I heard the sound of dishes, and visions of servants hurrying around, and murmurs of guests from the dining room. I was beginning to think I was losing my grip. It felt like the house itself had a memory that I could hear and see and even smell. We left the kitchen through another door, and I saw quite a sight from a hall window. I saw a neatly manicured garden with a grand fountain and bird feeders and white marble statues. Folks would gather there in nice weather to have sandwiches with the crusts trimmed off. Except there weren't a single reason to think that. There was nothing out there but endless tangles of thorny vines. What I saw was not what was there. It was in me head, if you know what I mean. Next thing I knew, we were in a study, the kind a wealthy man might have, with a grand desk and plush leather chairs and a bookcase built into the oak woodwork. I felt more than ever that I was trespassing. This room was not a happy place. No, it was filled with anger, sorrow, and fear. It hurt to just be there. The girl held out her hand like she wanted something, but I didn't know what. She reached into my pocket and pulled out the key, the one you gave me. Then she put it into a notch in the panelling. I hadn't noticed before. The whole section of wall slid back, and as it did, my feeling of dread grew. I mean to tell you, I was shaking, yet I didn't know why. Behind the panelling, there were these grey stone steps. They weren't fancy at all, not like the rest of the house. No, I don't want to go down there, I said. Embarrassed to say, I was on the verge of crying. She took my hand. I looked into her eyes. When she nodded, I knew this was something we both had to do. So, we went down, holding hands to keep up our spirit.
Please take a moment, Mr. McKnight. Have more tea. I understand how hard this is. Really, I do.
Look at my hands. I'm right worked up over this. You know what was down there? At the bottom of the steps?
Yes, I do. My mother and father.
Yeah. I thought as much. The girl stood between the two bodies, lying on the floor. They got up. Bloody, they were. The three of them embraced. And then the girl turned to me and said, "Goodbye, Tommy." Yeah. Just like that. And then I was alone in the room,
Well done, Tommy. Well done. As I had promised, I will now answer your questions.
I imagine the girl was your sister. Is that so, Miss Blackthorne?
Iris, yes. She was my sister. How did you know? When did you know?
You both have the same blue eyes. I felt something, but I didn't recognize it until the girl, Iris, faded away. Then I knew she was left over from the past, and finally found her way on.
I should explain. Our mother had become quite ill. She had visions, violent visions. They drove her mad. In those days, there was such a stigma against mental illness. Father couldn't send her to a sanitarium for the pride of the family. And they did such ghastly things in sanitariums. So, when she became unmanageable, which was more and more the case, he would put her in a special room at the bottom of those steps and chain her there. For her protection, not for cruelty. Eventually, that subterranean vault became her home. As her condition declined, so did Father's. He began drinking heavily and became more and more short-tempered. No, short-tempered is not the correct term. He was violent. He took out his rage first on the servants, who ran off one by one, then his friends, and then us girls. But most of all, and in the most horribly way, he was violent with Mother. His marriage was all but broken. His drinking and anger destroyed his business dealings and his friends along with it. He blamed everything on Mother. This was always the conclusion the bottle led him to. One night, a week before Christmas, in the middle of an especially severe blizzard, the sound of the wailing wind was drowned out by hate-filled bellowing screams and the impact of fist against flesh. Nothing in the world was harder for us girls to hear. We hid under a table, hugging each other, crying. Those sounds hurt me today as much as if I were receiving the blows. Iris broke free of my arms and ran off someplace. The terror caused me to leave a puddle under the table. Iris came back with our father's revolver. She ran past me, down the steps. I followed and hid at the bottom of the steps. I was too afraid to be seen by anyone. Shaking, never had I been so frightened. Iris raised the gun. It was heavy for such a small girl. It wavered, but she did her best to hold it on Father. "Stop," she commanded. He turned, noticing her for the first time. He was a monster, his clothing in disarray and stained with Mother's blood, his crazed eyes, like that of a wild beast, focused on Iris. "Stop," she said again. He tried to take the gun. It went off, but it didn't hit him. Instead, Iris killed Mother. Father was enraged before we girls got there. Now he was unrecognizable. He came after Iris. I'm sure he wanted to. His eyes, They were filled with murderous rage. Iris fired again. It hit his shoulder. Blood splattered the wall behind him. But his anger was unrelenting. He came for her again, and she fired again. This time, it grazed his face, taking a part of his cheek. She fired again and again, the bullets piercing farther, again and again, until the gun clicked empty and father lay face down on the floor. I think I was screaming. I don't know. The gun was so loud. I probably couldn't hear if I had been. I had just witnessed my sister kill our parents. I think I was screaming. Oh, God. Iris ran up the steps. I closed my eyes, hugged my knees, and tried to pray. But suddenly, I felt an urgent need to follow her. When I reached the top of the stairs, I saw the door was open. The door to outside. Her footsteps in the fresh snow were already fading as more fell. The light of the house only extended so far into the bleak night, and I could not see her. I ran after, screaming her name over and over, but it was cold as ice daggers stabbing my feet and legs. I couldn't go further. I couldn't follow my sister. I looked helplessly into the black void, begging her to come home. I tried to follow. Dear Lord, I tried. At last, I went back into the house and cried until I fell asleep on the floor.
Oh. No. No.
There was an investigation, and a search party roamed the forest looking for Iris. By then, after spending a night like that in the forest, wearing just a nightgown, it was of no use, of course. I could have saved her. If I had only followed her right away, I could have saved her.
You can't blame yourself. You can't.
But I do. And I have for these last 85 years.
The bodies of your parents had been in the house all these years?
Oh, Lord, no. Of course, they were given services and laid to rest in St. Patrick's. You didn't actually see them, Mr. McKnight. You imagined them. And Iris. Some people can, some people can't. Unfortunately, I don't have the knack, but I believe Mother did, sensing the tragedy that would befall the family. She was receptive, just as you are. I want to thank you, Mr. McKnight.
What for?
Iris could never have re-entered the house without your loving support. You helped my parents, and especially my sister, rest in peace after these many long years. And when my time comes, I too will rest in peace.
This has been a Morbid Forest collaborative episode with Haunted, the audio drama. And on this week's tale, you've heard Rest, Little Sister, written by Michael Hunter, with narration by Leanne Herring as Mrs. Blackthorne, Karim Kronfli as the Butler, and Peter Wicks as Tommy McKnight. Our theme music this season was created by Blakmoth. Story editing and audio production by Naomi Richards. Music and sound effects provided by Epidemic Sound. I just want to give the absolute biggest thank you to the cast and creator of Haunted, the audio drama produced by Impala Films. You guys were so amazing to work with, and we loved having you on the show, and we hoped that our listeners loved listening to you guys just as much as we did. Haunted, the audio drama tells the story of reclusive alcoholic writer James Hunter, bubbly, enthusiastic podcaster Abigail Corbin, and police officer Dan Cowell as they investigate strange and seemingly unexplainable phenomenon. Told in a classic serial format with episodes ranging from suspenseful thrillers to spine-tingling horrors to laugh-out-loud comedies. Haunted, the audio drama is a horror adventure series that feels like Doctor Who crossed with the X Files. Season 3 is currently releasing now. I'm going to go ahead and leave all the links in the show notes, as well as you guys might want to follow them on all of their platforms, as there might be something visually coming from them soon. Follow us on X, or Twitter if you're old school, Instagram, Threads, and Discord to stay up to date on all the happenings within the forest. Interested in more morsels of the forest? Then join our Patreon. As a faithful traveler, you'll receive exclusive access to early episode releases, access to all bonus content, and deals on merch for only $3 a month. That's patreon.com/The Morbid Forest. Can you spare a moment to help another traveler in need? For just 1 review or 5 stars, you can help a fellow traveler in desperate need of a horror podcast. Ratings and reviews are the best way to find lost travelers out there. So head to your favorite podcast platform today to assist a fellow traveler in finding their path to the Morbid Forest. And with that, we'll see you next time, travelers, on The Morbid Forest.